Alrighty, it's the final day of the trial. Let's get in there. February 25th, 9:47. This is the defendant's lobby, alright, but there's no defendant. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? And where's Emma, for that matter? It almost seems as if something's been happening behind the scenes. Edgeworth. Knowing you, you've already figured it out. Who the owner of the 77 ID number is, that is. Well, I have a pretty strong hunch. Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out. You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt regarding this ID record. If that number does belong to who you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. True. Not yet. In any event, once all doubt has been removed from the list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes, Wright, and Chief Prosecutor Sky will be found guilty. But she didn't do it. I figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say.
Also, Edgeworth, don't take Von Karma's habits. This case will be done in 5 minutes.
No, he's already starting. He's a student prodigy. This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth? Everything goes back to the SO9 incident. Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past. That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. See you in court, right? This is it. If I'm ever going to find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now. Here we go, baby! Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Normally, this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. Chief Gant.
He manifested.
He just teleported here. Morning, folks. How everyone's doing? Hey, Audrey, been back to the pool yet? No, just been drowning it off as it is in my work. Oh, that's a good one. Don't think I can top that. If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours? Lana, that is to say, the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. She wants to do what? Haven't heard what she intends to say. I feel she should be granted her request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble. What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request and I'll be finished. Well then, what's your request? Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to his trial. Huh? I confess to all charges against me. On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman in the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office. No, Lana, what are you doing? You can't. Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea. In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services. But Lana...
My record!
My record! Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please. Well, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. Her request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial, even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise. This can't be happening. My job!
My perfect record.
My perfect record. Now we're gonna bang our head on on these walls.
Yeah. Graw!
It appears the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant. One moment, Your Honor. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage will certainly be premature. Come now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you, but why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut? I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gant. What? Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes. Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal struck behind the scenes. Some kind of deal, huh? Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy. I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness. Oh? To whom? As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Sky. I request the court hears her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, I am exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to continue. I don't care what you think, Miss Sky.
Damn.
The exposure of truth sometimes results in a tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it. Very well, the court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Gant? Worthy, you'll live to regret this. Mark my words. Hope you like swimming. Miss Emma Scott, please take the stand. Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. Does that mean Phoenix is done now? He can just leave?
Well, Edgeworth is still trying to prove. He's trying to just, without a doubt, prove it.
Yes. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. My name is Emma Sky. My occupation? I'm Lana's little sister and I want to be a scientific investigator. 2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct? Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that though. I'm sorry. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to ask you to recall those events one more time. Mr. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant? Yes, it most certainly is. Oh, well, okay then. You sure you came fast. Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. Alright, here we go. 2 years ago. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me. But I'll never forget what I saw in that incident. The man raised up his knife hand and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. It's a good thing you weren't harmed. I passed out. I don't remember much. That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder? That will soon become apparent, Your Honor. You gotta admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. Alright. Was waiting in my sister's office that day. Man came running in, took me hostage. Neo Marshall rescued me. Oh, I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. A man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest.
Wasn't it stabbed in the back?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I was thinking, where's that?
But don't
photo?
present anything yet, because
Yeah,
I think you're weird.
Just trying to find the photo. Yeah, see? Autopsy report. Stabbed in the back. But she, it contradicts what she's saying. I mean, I think that's the answer. But we can press.
Things. Yeah, we gotta press some things.
That must have been a real shock. Even now, when I close my eyes, I can still see it just as clearly. Tell us, what were you doing at that moment? I believe you testified that Joe Dark was holding you hostage. When lightning struck and the lights went out, Mr. Marshall jumped on Dirk. I was throwing sign the two began wrestling each other. Pretty sure I was watching them. Emma doesn't have any reason to lie. But Lana sure does. I need to get Emma to tell me as much about this as she can.
Press the statement before?
I was waiting in my sister's office that day. Man came running in and took me hostage. Neo Marshall rescued me, so we can press with.
Or the one after.
I'll never forget what I saw in that instant.
In that instant.
But what she saw in this instant was this, you know?
Press it anyway. We press everything.
We already pressed this.
We don't get it. Not that. Press the one before. That.
Can you tell us about that? So Marshall jumped on Dark. Just then, the lights went out. Lights? It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on. Lightning struck nearby. So the electricity went out. Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in that room, you should have been able to see anything, right? Right, but just then lightning flashed again outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind. See, I told the detective about what I saw then. The detective? Yes, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case. Detective Bruce Goodman, the victim. Hear more. So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago. Yes, that's what's so scary about this trial. And you told Detective Goodman about what you saw? Yes, but at the time, the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture. Picture? Yes, I think she mentioned that before. Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough? Ask about the picture. This picture with the witness drew. I believe it has a very important meaning. But the list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture. Witness, would you mind if we added this statement to your testimony? Yes, Your Honor. I drew a picture of that scene once, but it seemed to have been lost. Press.
Do we have anything with the picture?
I don't think we have the picture itself.
We have to use Detective 3D mode.
No, I don't think we have the picture itself. Yeah, we don't. I mean, I think the answer is coming back to the autopsy report, but we need to press for this. I think this is what they're about to give us if we press for it.
Yeah. What did you draw the picture on?
You drew a picture of the scene you witnessed, right? Yes, I wanted to do everything I could to help the investigation. I can still see it now. Whenever I close my eyes, That's strange. I took over the case after Prosecutor Marshall died. Yeah, I never received any picture. Perhaps the witness is mistaken? But I did draw, I swear. I'm not just imagining it. This picture that Emma drew, that reminds me. Guess I should check the evidence again. Well, anyways, let's continue. The scene that imprinted an image in your mind. Can you please describe it to us? The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Good Marshall in the chest. I think it's time for the autopsy report.
I think we have to find that picture in the evidence.
I don't think that picture's in here, Shane.
I think we have to check the back of documents. Earlier ones.
Oh, might be
further left. That's just the floor plans. I think it's the SL9 paper.
But that's just a memo. That's not a picture.
Check it. The paper, Neng, have two sides.
I cannot rotate, Shane. I cannot find out the answer for you.
Has to be on something, then.
I don't think we have the picture, Shane. She said that the picture was never found. Well, Edgeworth says the picture was never found. I think she drew it, but Gant took it as evidence, and we don't have it.
That would have been in the thing.
Oh, is it this? Oh,
wow!
There you
nice
go.
Picture.
Wow, we found it. Damn.
Oh, that's a lot of shading.
Picture is drawn on the back of the evidence list in magic marker. Got a very bad feeling about this. Okay, so this is the picture, right?
One criticism of this, if it was drawn in magic marker, it should have kind of bled through on one piece. So you would have been like, oh, let's check the back of it.
Well, this was important paper, Shane. Good quality. That magic marker won't just cut through. So take that.
I hate it.
Okay, so we got this picture.
Yeah. So all we know is that one looked like he's someone getting stabbed in the chest, too. And they were holding it in their left hand.
So her statement right now matches up with that picture.
Yeah. Someone wouldn't get stabbed in the chest from that kind of angle, though.
Yes, but according to what she's saying, I think she's trying to reference that picture.
Yeah.
So we need to find the contradiction, which is gonna lead us back to the autopsy report in the end anyways, because it says he was stabbed in the back. Correct?
Right.
So we're gonna present this.
Right.
Always thinking too far ahead, I guess.
Yep.
Alright, fine, we'll do the picture. Emma doesn't have any reason to lie, but Lasha does need. Drew a picture of the scene once, but it seems to have been lost. Drew a picture?
Blah, 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 blah.
Never received any picture. That reminds me, I guess I should check the evidence again. Okay, so I guess we have to present the picture.
Is it going to be able to present like that?
Yeah, I mean, that's the reason why we were able to rotate it, you know?
Is it at the...
Right here.
Yeah.
It's the picture.
Yeah, the picture.
But what do we do with
Maybe
that?
not... Is there one of our statements mention the picture, or is it only... Because I think we have to present it the right way.
Right here.
Is that where we presented it at?
I mean, I guess we can. We can try.
This will finally prove that you need certain evidence at certain statement. If it's right.
Objection! Mr. Edgeworth, this little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet you would insist on denying its existence?
Sounds right up your alley, Edgeworth.
Hey, I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture. That may well be. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold! This is the evidence list for the SO9 incident? Please turn it over, Your Honor. Turn it over? Turn it... Ah! What's this? Yes, what is that?
People fighting on a wall.
Hey, that's it. That's the picture I drew. Indeed. Two men appear to be wrestling here. What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list? Me? Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to the list. Huh? These lists, they're different from each other. What? It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks here, where they were torn apart from each other. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in that case ever reached you. What? What? Order, order. But Miss Sky, why did you draw your picture on the back of such an important list? Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor. Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means... What does that mean? Your Honor. Are you alright, Mr. Wright? Your eyes are bulging from your head. If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. Huh? Yes, it's quite conceivable, Mr. Edgeworth. It's possible. Let's see.
Hit rate.
Is something wrong? Do you even have to ask? Sorry, Your Honor. There's indeed something drawn on the back of my list. It's that thing. That's that thing. That thing that was dancing in the evidence room. Clearly, this act of vandalism is the work of a certain chief of detectives. I guess he was out of scrap paper. Woo. Very well, witness. Will you please testify about this picture you drew 2 years ago? Huh? Oh, yes, sir, Your Honor. What's wrong with Emma? She seemed to be thinking about something when she was looking at that picture. Emma's picture. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright all I could see was shadows. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. To think a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind. Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw. Well, I don't see any contradictions here. This clearly showed Joe Darks about to murder prosecutor Neil Marshall. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. Wow, this is very vague.
Neng, it's time for the autopsy on the picture.
This picture?
Because that's showing someone getting stabbed in the face or the back.
Press it. Sorry for asking so many times, but are you sure you drew exactly what you saw? Of course, this is the exact scene. Was it influenced in any ways from your talk to the detective? Are you insinuating we somehow manipulated her memory, Mr. Wright? No, of course not. I better watch out, or he might find some way to cut my salary. I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detectives, so I don't think anyone's story would have influenced me. Mr. Wright, is there something that's bothering you about this picture? That's strange. She claims this is exactly the scene that was imprinted in her mind, and yet there's clearly a contradiction here. Picture 2 years ago, flash of lightning so bright I can see your shadows, so that must have fainted. The picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. Autopsy time, Shane. I'll take that side. Yes. Objection! I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew, you gonna tell her she's wrong, Phoenix?
Wrong, Phoenix.
Contains a blatant contradiction. Turns out you were wrong. What? But I still remember like how it was yesterday. Mr. Wright?
A false memory.
Perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy report? What are we supposed to click?
Is she remembering a square edge on a knife?
Well, because we kept saying it's the back, right? So.
Saying the back, yes, but.
We can always just click the knife to be safe, or should we click the chest
let's try.
area?
No. Wait, what does the... Oh, wait, we can't look at the autopsy again. Oh, it's already square? I mean, the knife tip broke off? Why is it a square object? I guess click the knife.
Yeah, we can click the knife.
The knife.
It is weird that the blade is off. Take a look at this knife the man's holding. If you look closely, you can see the tip is broken. You're gonna have to look closely to see it, Mr. Wright. But Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? Its tip is broken too. If I recall,
that happened after.
The tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body. It was the conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer. So why would it break off before the stabbing? I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma. And where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem? It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet be broken. What's the meaning of this? Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there. That's right, but what does this mean? The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is the witness's memory is mistaken.
Whoa!
That's why I asked her so many times that she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time, but she was sure she remembered correctly. But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already? About a little something called falsified evidence?
You should know.
You're treading on thin ice, Miss Wright. All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. Yeah. You can't deny the possibility. No. Order. Are you saying the investigation really was corrupted? Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place the day of the murder. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day.
Yeah.
After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Gant. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. It is my belief that somewhere in this story, there is a lie. I'm not lying. The man really was holding up a broken knife. If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife. What are the chances of there being two broken knives?
After that ceremony?
Another broken knife besides Joe Dark's? Could there have been one? Emma's mistaken.
She's dumb. Dumb child.
There is another one. If the witness is this adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, it can't just be explained away by a simple observational error. Mr. Wright? In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife. I assume then that you have some information about this other broken knife. If so, please feel free to enlighten us. The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this. Here's the real murder weapon. Edgeworth did it.
Edgeworth got
2 years ago.
Yeah, you know
Picture. Is it the picture or is it the trophy itself?
The picture, because that has no knife on it. But you have to show the one that has the knife on it.
Take that. Answer lies in the past. 2 years in the past. Right here inside this picture. This is a picture of the award ceremony. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? It's the broken murder weapon. Notice the award Prosecutor Marshall is holding. That's a broken knife. As we earlier concluded, the knife in the drawing was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was in all likelihood from this award. Order! Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. As an award, he was given this broken shield and knife, this very shitty award. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation. But that can't be. Oh, and why not, Mr. Edgeworth? Because if the King of Prosecutors' award knife was the murder weapon, then the murderer and the victim would be reversed. What do you mean? I mean, that man raised a knife would have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Oh. But the prosecutor was the one who actually died. That's true. What's going on here? It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions. Wait, I remember now. I remember everything. Witness? Mr. Edgeworth. What is it? Could you show me your evidence list again, please? His list? The one with that picture scribbled on the back? I knew it. This picture, I'm the one who drew it. What? You drew that? That's right. The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture. You see, I suffer from nightmares. And this was something I kept seeing in my dreams.
Then Gumshoe made it a reality.
And Gumshoe thought it was a great mascot.
But why would she see this?
All this time I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside of me. Damn, that thing's really that terrible, huh? Perhaps it would be best if we added this to a witness testimony. Would you please tell us what you recall, Miss Sky? Yes, Your Honor. First the knife mix-up and now the blue badger? This should be interesting. Alright. When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed towards both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow. This is certainly most unusual. Try impossible. The chief of detectives hasn't even designed him until this year. That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago. Yes, well, the defense may now begin cross-examining. Stop, please, don't pursue us any further. Lana, what's the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair. But you can't do this. I've already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it at that? Chief
Lana, this is hyper suspicious.
It is, Lana. You're looking very sus. We've already come this far. It's too late to turn back. Silence. The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. It seems we're finally getting to the core of the matter. Let's do it.
So it has to be the shadow, right?
When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed towards both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow. Press for this.
You know what it is, Neng?
His shadow? So you mean you didn't actually see his face with its winning smile and all? That's right, but I still remember it. He had 3 creepy horns. This is pointless. That thing couldn't have possibly existed 2 years ago. That witness must be mistaken. That may well be. But what's more important is what caused her to think she saw what she did. Oh, and I suppose you have an explanation. If so, by all means, please tell us what the shadow really was. What was it Emma saw when the lightning flashed? Who is this blue badger really? I might just know, right, Shane? Yeah, we know. The blue badger hadn't even dreamed up when Emma drew this picture. Yeah, she's certain she saw a shadow. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the defense's belief that on that fateful day, 2 years ago, there indeed was something that looked similar to the blue badger. Something that's now sitting in this very room. Mr. Wright? In this room? Very well, Mr. Wright. What is it that the witness saw in that instant? Please show us the mysterious blue badger look-alike.
You know what it is, Neng. Don't be unstable now.
Hmm.
You want me to just tell you?
It was the vase, wasn't it?
Yes.
I knew what I was doing. Maybe. The mysterious blue badge was in fact this. But that's... what exactly is that?
An ugly ass face.
Yeah, that's right. I believe some sort of jar. But Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the blue badger. Indeed, it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint? Our viewpoint? Got to show them the correct angle to look at this from.
Keep spinning. Keep spinning. Or, yeah, rotate, like spin it, yeah, that, and then raise it up. Other way. Or, then rotate. Or, like, spin it. Not that, like that. Like, you want to keep it on the front face. You're trying to make it.
Oh, you want me to rotate like Oh, no,
Like a barrel roll.
Okay, I get what you're trying to say. Like this?
No, like spinning the jar. Like it's spinning in place. Or, it could be from that side, but we have to make those things point down. And then have the top knob be visible. You have to spin it, yeah, like that. And then I think it's just playing with that to make it... Or, something to make the top nub really appear.
Alright, after many lookings, we're gonna try this one.
Oh god, that was so hyper specific.
It was asking very, very specific things. This is a miracle or what? Wow.
Wow.
No one can possibly deny this jar's resemblance to a blue badger. This nightmare thing has been the worst thing about this chapter. It has come back many times and ruined everything.
Many times.
No, it can't be. That's what we're saying, Edgeworth. That's what we're saying. Order! The defense had proven its claim. The mysterious blue badger witnessed on the day of the crown is actually this. Although we all enjoy Mr. Wright's dramatic performance and fumbling of the jar, one question remains. What's your point? What do you mean? So, that badger thing was actually just a jar. That doesn't change anything. I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, this changes everything. Indeed? Very well then. Please tell us. What's different now that we know the witness saw this jar?
The location.
The location? Well, the murder weapon, right?
The jar didn't kill him, but there's blood on it. Could have been spray. So wait.
The location doesn't change. It was still in the same spot.
That or in the evidence room. Didn't we put it together in the evidence room?
I'm assuming we put it together in the evidence room because it was moved there. It was moved there and then it was broken in there. But in terms of this scenario with Emma's backstory, it doesn't do much to say that it took place in the evidence room because I think the crime still placed in that room.
That's assuming that's Neil's blood? Or is it Neil's blood?
Maybe.
I mean, that's the only thing connecting to that, right?
So the murderer then, right?
Right.
Allow me to take these in turn. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar. At a very specific angle, I might add, Mr. Wright. Yes, well, knowing this, where could she have seen this jar? Where? The location of the jar is shown in the picture taken on the day of the crime. It's on a shelf in the office of Damon Gant. But the body is found lying near Lana Sky's desk. The witness testifies so herself.
Oh, is that what they're meaning? Okay.
Yes, and it is these two facts that reveal what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room in Chief Gant's office. Are you implying the murderer moved the victim's body? From Damon Gant's office to Lana Sky's office? Yes. Why would he do that? There's no reason. Exactly. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason. Do you know what that reason was, Mr. Wright? I finally figured it out. So this is why Lana tried to stop the trial. It's too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness's testimony. She says she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, what could have sent the jar flying? That would have to have been the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall? Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more. If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what would he have hit?
Oh.
The suit of armor holding a very sharp and dangerous looking sword. Yes. And since that man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would have had to have been Neil Marshall wielding the King of Prosecutors trophy. No, Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking... Yes. There is another possibility of what actually transpired in that room. Another possibility? Of course, the perpetrator would have had no idea, but nevertheless. I don't know if I can go through with this. Mr. Wright, what's the matter? If events took place as the defense theorizes, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma Sky knocked away was actually prosecutor Neil Marshall, dang.
Got him.
Got him. Mr. Marshall died because of me? No. I never imagined a testimony would lead to this. So it was a witness who took the victim's life. And then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented.
Hey, Lena, I got you off guilty charge. Oh wait, no, she would still have possibly killed Goodman. Well, now you're both murderers.
What are you saying? I'm sorry, Miss Sky, but given the circumstances, Joe Dark murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How can you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin the crime on her? And Imagine that coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out about what Emma did, wasn't it? I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're gonna have to have proof. Tell me, do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall? Evidence? I'm willing to bet you don't. Yes, it certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence. If we don't have evidence, then we'll have to rely on testimony. I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead. We certainly can't get dead people to testify. Where's Maya when you need her?
Where is she?
This has all been a wild goose chase from the beginning. Touché, Miss Sky. Of course, that only leaves us with one possibility. You mean there's still another possibility? What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? I mean the possibility that the victim has left us a message. For better or for worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life. In one manner or another. That's impossible. Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left to you. A message from the deceased. Does such a message exist?
Of course it does.
You gotta think back to the court record. The real murderer's name that the victim may have left behind is in the evidence, of course. This message from the deceased is already in our possession. Mr. Wright, will you stop at nothing to prove my sister a murderer? No.
No.
This is the downside of Phoenix Wright. He won't stop.
No.
It's been working positively up to this point, but now it's turned us into the villain. Do not be mistaken, Miss Sky. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There is only one thing we seek.
Justice.
The truth. But justice is up kinda close. No matter how painful it may be. Now then, Mr. Wright. Please show us the piece of evidence that conveys a message from the deceased.
The jar. Again.
The jar again. Clearly trying to write something on there. This is the message left by the deceased.
Braille.
This is that blue badger from before, right? Oh, is he gonna just speak the killer's name? If that thing could, I'm sure it would. Looks like everyone's forgotten this is just a jar. A message was left here, on the surface of this jar. What do you mean? If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood in this jar. It looks like someone wiped the blood away. Yes, but notice. For some reason, the blood in some of the fragments were not wiped away. Yes, there's a line here, drawn in blood. So what you're saying is these dots were once lines? Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used the few precious moments left to him to leave behind a message. One that someone apparently wiped away. But blood must have seeped into a jar where the lines changed directions. Precisely so. All we need to do is connect these points. And the victim's message will become apparent. No. Mr. Wright? What kind of message did the victim leave for us? Your Honor, I believe these bloodstains will reveal to us the answer. You gotta connect these dots to make letters. Only one thing the victim would have written, given the circumstances. His murderer's name. Are we writing this in Japanese? Is that what we're doing?
No, it's English.
Okay. It's a E.
You wait. Yep.
That's a
right.
M.
And that's a
That's triangles. So E equals MC squared. It was
is M.
it was fucking
Einstein.
I fucking knew it this whole time. How do we present this?
Here, Phoenix just cuts himself.
Oh.
Oh.
How did I do that? Okay. Come on.
Ooh, did you have to do this a puzzle way? Yep.
There we go. Perfect. No way we're missing something. Present.
Emma?
It's the defense attorney's due to prove their client's innocent. That's why I've been thinking about is saying Lana. After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this. Emma. So this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind. Of all people. She may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Emma Sky.
Book her, boys.
Book her. To jail. See, Worthy? Can't say I didn't warn you. Chief Gant, do you understand the implications of what you've done? What? What are you talking about? 2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in that case, were you not? Yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction. But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. That's undeniable. I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know we aren't defenders of justice? What? We're merely keepers of the law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter. Even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery, ultimately the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied. What's going on at the prosecutor's office? They might not have sent an innocent man. They might have sent an innocent man to death. How can you just stand there like it wasn't his fault? Order, order, order. Order! The gavel's pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess.
Woo!
Woo! Where this trial is headed, no one knows. To be continued.
To be.
I knew that Emma had something going on in her eyes. I sensed the darkness behind it.
All the science.